Hare Krishna. I'm handing over to you, Prabhuji.
Narayan Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiriyet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Utam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Nashtaki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Aiche.
So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 5, verse number 37. Very, very powerful verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumna Naya Anirudhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Translation. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva, along with his plenary expansion, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. You can read, Mataji, the purport.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. According to Pancha Ratna, Narayan is the primordial cause of all expansions of Godhead. There are Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Vasudeva and Sankarshana are on the middle, left, and right. Pradyumna is on the right of Sankarshana, and Aniruddha is on the left of Vasudeva, and thus the four deities are situated. They are known as the four aids the camp of Lord Shri Krishna. This is a Vedic hymn or mantra beginning with Omkara Pranamva, and thus the mantra is established by the transcendental chanting process, namely Om Namo Dhimahi, etc. The purport is that any transaction, either in the field of fruitive work or in empiric philosophy, which is not ultimately aimed at transcendental realization of the Supreme Lord, is considered to be useless. Naradji has therefore explained the nature of unalloyed devotional service by his personal experience in the development of intimacy between the Lord and the living entity by the gradual process of progressive devotional activities. Such a progressive match of transcendental devotion for the Lord culminates in the attainment of loving service of the Lord, which is called prema in the different transcendental vignettes called rasas. Such devotional service is also executed in mixed forms, namely mixed with fruitive work or empiric philosophical speculation. Now the question which was raised by the great rishis, headed by Shaunakya, regarding the confidential part of Suta's achievement through the spiritual master is explained herein by the chanting of these hymns consisting of 33 letters. And this mantra is addressed to the four deities or the Lord with his plenary expansions. The central figure is Lord Shri Krishna because the plenary portions are his aid de camp. The most confidential parts of the instruction is that one should always chant and remember the glories of the Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, along with his different plenary portions expanded as Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. These expansions are the original deities for all other truths, namely either Vishnu Tattva or Shakti Tattvas. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumna Naya Anirudhaya Nama Sankarshanaya Cha. Let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva, along with his plenary expansions, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana. So this verse is a very, very powerful verse because this has got 4 particular names: Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, which as you read Bhagavatam, they'll be repeated many, many times. And each of these name itself is powerful. Each name, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, very, very powerful names. And here, Sri Prabhupada comments twice that they are all expansions of Krishna. And in all Krishna Leela, or all the pastimes of Krishna, all 4 help Krishna because they are directly like limbs of Krishna or a direct expansion of Krishna. And they are called Vishnu Tattvas. So we should know the difference between Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. Vishnu Tattva are those who come from Krishna and who are not in this material world. And they have got nothing to do with materialism. They are called Vishnu Tattva. Whereas we are called Jiva Tattva. We are also called separated from Krishna. We are called Jiva Tattva. Vibhin Amsha. The first ones are called Amsha, we are called Vibhin Amsha. Vibhin Amsha means separated from the original fire. Not broken, remember that, only separated. So we are also connected with Krishna. It's only that we've forgotten our Sarupa, our constitutional position. So Sri Prabhupada says that if you go deep into the Bhagavatam, you'll find that from Krishna, the first expansion is Balaram. And then from Balaram comes these 4, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Later on comes Narayan, and then from Narayan, again these 4. These are known as 4 quadruple. Quadruple means 4 at the same time appearing. So here in the purport, Sri Prabhupada says, Vasudev is in the middle left, Sankarshan is in the right. And when you say Pradyumna is on the, what do you call, next to Sankarshan, and next to Vasudev is Aniruddha, all 4. If you want a good idea, even if you go to Ramayana, right in the beginning, when the Lord wanted to appear, Krishna's expansions, then Krishna's 4 expansions means Narayan's 4 expansion later on, Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Vasudev is Ramachandra. Then Sankarshan is Lakshman. Pradyumna is Bharat, and Aniruddha is Shatrughna. Don't forget this. And in one of the purposes later in the Bhagavatam, Sri Prabhupada says, in the olden days, even up to recently, if someone was sick, someone was not very happy, someone had some mental problems, then the father or the guardian of that person would put the right hand on the forehead of that person and utter these 4 names. And it has a lot of power to cure that disorder. So these are no ordinary names. That's why here it says, let us all chant the glories of Vasudeva along with his plenary expansions, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshan. So in short, you should keep these words in your mind, AVSP. Of course, its first is V, Vasudeva, Sankarshan is S, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. So as you read, as you get faith into this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam or in spiritual knowledge, then you'll find that all these 4 are spread everywhere, even in the material world, which I'll explain you later in the Bhagavatam. So this verse is a kind of a hymn, a prayer. It begins with the pranava mantra, Om. In the 7th chapter, Krishna says, Pranava sarva vedishu. The whole verse is Rashoham apshukanteya prabhashvi sashishuraya pranava sarva vedishu. In all the Vedic mantras, the word used is Om. And that Om is used even in this verse. I remember, I have an experience that sometimes when you go for house programs, they say, why do you say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram? Why don't you say Om first and then you chant the Mahamantra? Sri Prabhupada says it's not a necessity. Unless you are using Mahamantra in a fire sacrifice. Then at that time you say Om, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. We are using the Maha Mantra for Bhakti Yoga to attain love of Krishna. So in the Hare Krishna mantra, there are thousands of Oms. So we don't need to speak separately. So it says here that any transaction in the material world, be it karma or jnana. Karma means fruitive activities. I think everybody knows the word fruitive activities. Fruitive means when you're desiring some fruit. For example, if you have a garden or you have a farm, you put some tree. You wait someday for it to fructify, so the tree is successful. The same way, if there is no fruit in this world, nobody's going to work. Like anyone goes to work, we'll ask, how much will you pay me? Very common in the Western culture. They'll demand money first, or demand kind of a contract. How much will you pay me? Then I'll work for you. Otherwise, I'll not work for you. So that is called fruitive activity. And that is called artha. Not exactly artha, but karma phala. Karma phala. Phala means the fruit of the karma. And then there's jnana karma. When you engage in speculation, you have a desire to know something, and for which you work very hard by reading so many books, hearing from so many devotees, till you don't get fully established what is real truth. Bhagavad Gita gives you in one verse the answer. As far as karma is concerned, fruitive activities, if the karma is done for Krishna, then there's no bondage. Krishna says in the 9th chapter, Yat karoshi yadashnashi, Yat juhoshi dadashi yat tapasyashi kauntiya tat kurusha madarpana. Whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you give away, whatever you eat, do all that for me. So if the karma is done for Krishna, there's no bondage. And when you do jnana, then the answer is given in the 7th chapter. That after many, many births, one comes to understand that Krishna is everything and Krishna is cause of all causes. And such a person who has attained a knowledge like this is very rare. Anybody knows this verse? The Sanskrit, very famous verse. Anybody knows?
Bahunam janmanam ante nanavan mam prapadyate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha.
Sudurlabha, yes. So very rare person can understand that Krishna is everything. Just before we started the class today in the evening, before the aarti in our temple, one lady came. She says, whenever I try to read Bhagavad Gita, I don't understand anything. I said, did you read the introduction? She said, no. But if you don't read the introduction, how will you know the rest of the book? And then I told the secret of Bhagavad Gita. The secret of Bhagavad Gita is that you have to accept Krishna as supreme. Then you will understand Bhagavad Gita. If you don't accept Krishna, then Bhagavad Gita is not for you. He says, and then she argued, I'm a Hindu and this and this. Well, you may be a Hindu, that is okay. If you don't accept Krishna as supreme, Bhagavad Gita is not a subject matter for you. And Krishna also says, towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, that this Bhagavad Gita is meant for my devotees, not for others. Not for others who are not austere, not cultured. Those who are envious of Krishna is not meant for them. So first of all, at least accept Krishna. Then Bhagavad Gita can be understood. Now that is called a mature fruit of knowledge. So in any karma or any jnana or any fruitive activity or any mental speculation, the aim should be Krishna. Otherwise it is useless. It is all a waste of time. An example is given in the scriptures. In India, or even here, where they grow rice, and then the rice is removed. And what is left? The external husk, the husks, like pots. The rice is already removed. Now, if you keep beating that husk, you're not going to get rice anymore. The rice has already come out. It is waste of time. In the similar way, you may do work very, very hard, doing so many good karma, maybe doing a lot of speculation, trying to get the truth. But the aim is not there to understand Krishna. then Shrama eva hi kevalam. Shrama means ultimately zero. You're not going to get any good result or no result. It is a waste of time. That is why Sri Prabhupada says, even before reading Bhagavad Gita, meditate on Krishna. Think of beautiful form of Krishna. Think that you are in the shoes of Arjuna, and then read Bhagavad Gita, then you can understand. And when you read Bhagavatam, you should know that. At least meditate that I am trying to know who is Krishna. You already accept Krishna, but you want to know more about Krishna. That quest should be there. So otherwise, Shrama evali kevalam, you are just wasting your time. And Bhagavatam is the only scripture in the entire world which is not on the level of fruitive activities, means not on the level of dharma, artha, kama, moksha. It's not Bhagavatam is not teaching you any mundane religion. Artha means for any economic development, the plants are not given in the Bhagavatam. Kama is not meant to fulfill your sensual desires. And those who read Bhagavatam, they don't even go for liberation. They only want to serve Krishna. That is why it's such a pure scripture. So when you read Bhagavatam, what is the result? Love of God. The easiest way to get in love of God is to only hear Bhagavatam. That's it. If you daily hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna is yours. Krishna is called, Krishna is named, Krishna has many, many names. But there's one particular name, it's called Ajita. There are many people also name in the Indian community, they call Ajit, but they may not be knowing the meaning. Ajita is the name of Krishna. Ajita means one cannot be conquered. Or Jita. But if you want to conquer in Jita, then you have to hear about Bhagavatam. As you read Bhagavatam, you can capture Krishna. Easiest way. So Bhagavatam is so powerful, for which you have to, because as you read Bhagavatam, automatically you'll come to the level, or automatically you'll be attracted towards bhakti, unalloyed devotional service, ananya bhakti. Ananya means no worship of no one except Krishna. Only Krishna. And this Ananya Bhakti cannot be accepted by everyone, only the fortunate souls. That's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Bhamite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. Who is that fortunate soul who received the mercy of Bhakti, or the seed of devotional service, by the mercy of the Guru and Krishna? One is wondering, means we are taking birth so many times. Maybe in one lifetime, you'll get that seed of devotional service. And if you get that devotional service, you are a fortunate soul. So the next duty is to water the seed by regular hearing and chanting, so that the process continues. And nobody can stop it. It will go straight to the feet of Krishna. May take some time, but it will go. So unalloyed devotional service is Ananya Bhakti. Now, if you read Bhagavad Gita, I think 1154. Anybody has a Bhagavad Gita in the hand? Can read this verse, 1854. Your mic is off. Mataji, your mic is...
1854?
No, 1154.
Oh, 11.
1154. Prabhuji, the translation?
Yeah, translation.
1154 translation. My dear Arjun, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding.
Now, if you read this verse, the purport is quite long. Prabhupada gives so many quotations to explain you what does the word unalloyed devotional service means. No mixture of karma, no mixture of jnana. Means you are not asking for any material benefit from Krishna. You're not asking, you're no more speculating, you accepted Krishna all in all. And then when you render service, then at that level, you're already on a level of Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta means you're not on a bodily platform, you're on a spiritual platform. And as you render service, then the rasa will come. Rasa means, the word rasa comes from the word, in English we say juice. For example, you squeeze an orange, you get juice out of it. Or mango, you get juice out of it. So as you hear and chant, the juice will come out. And that juice will become more and more and more sweeter day by day by day. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, devotional service is like that. He gives the example of a sugar cane. Sugar cane is sweet, whether you taste it from top or you taste it from bottom. Entire sugar cane is sweet. But he gives another example, that from sugar cane, you get sugar juice. As you heat up the juice, you get molasses. When you clean up the molasses, you get sugar. Again, when you heat up the sugar, you get a solid sugar. We call it candy. And later on, you get mishram. Mishram is very tiny, but very, very sweet. So imagine so many processes till you attain the candy. The similar way, as you engage in devotional service, all the 9 processes, especially the first 2, hearing and chanting, and what is the effect of devotional service? For example, what happens when you go in front of a mirror? What does the mirror show you? The mirror will show you what you look like. There are people who can stand for hours in front of a mirror. Your Prabhupada doesn't recommend. Prabhupada says you should only see the mirror to see this part that you are putting on the film. You don't need to see your face. But a Bhagavatam or any very scripture is like a mirror kept in front of you. So what does the mirror show you? For example, I'm standing in front of the mirror. I'll come to know, now I have white hair, I'm becoming old. First thing. My skin is no more the way it used to be. Then my teeth are swallowed out. I'm not the same, and I'll still become old. Means the mirror speaks at least some truth about what you look like. But this Bhagavatam is a mirror which goes right inside. And as you progress in devotional service, all your defects will be shown. Where were you wrong? What offenses you commit? What mistakes you, what misconceptions you had? Whatever ill deeds you did, everything will come in front. And the Bhagavatam has the power to clear all of them. And when it clears all those anarthas, all the defects, then what happens? In the beginning, you are like standing straight in front of Krishna. And as you read Bhagavatam, you'll bow down. You'll bow down and you'll humble yourself in front of Krishna, and the love will increase. This is the effect of reading Bhagavatam. Sometimes in the Bhagavatam class, I recall, even in Nairobi, some devotees after the end of the class, they said, Prabhu, you are speaking about me, yeah? And I said, why? I never spoke about you. He says, but you spoke exactly what is pointing towards me. I said, I am not pointing towards you. It is the Bhagavatam speaking. So sometimes we feel why Bhagavatam is speaking about us. It is rectifying all our impurities. Then we come to the level of unalloyed devotion service. How? Because when you read Bhagavatam more and more, all your defects will be seen. Not only defects, your even good sides will be seen. Not everyone has got bad side, not everyone has a good side. We all have a good side, we have a bad side. Both will come in front. Like in Isha Panishad, I think the verse number 11, mantra number 11, it says that you should learn Vidya and also Avidya. You should know what is knowledge and what is ignorance, side by side, in order to understand the reality. So the Bhagavatam gives you reality. It removes the reality again. It puts a new reality, and which is Krishna. Along with this quadruple expansion, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Padimana, Anivita. Now if you read the Sanskrit of this word, I don't know if you can see the Sanskrit you're holding on my book. This is the Sanskrit here. Now, if you count the number of words, there are 33 letters, sorry. And these letters are very, very powerful. Prabhupada says in the commentary that these are the words which purify Sutta Goswami. So who was Sutta Goswami hearing from? Sukadeva Goswami. He was one of the rishis at that time in Shiranya. And he was so, what he called, pure, that he was chosen to speak Bhagavatam again. And one of them was also asking questions. And that was Saudak Rishi. This is how the Bhagavatam is like hearing it in a big audience. Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Parikshit, being heard by Sutta Goswami. Sutta Goswami is speaking to Naimisharanya, and all the Rishi Munis are hearing it. 3 people get advantage of hearing it. Sorry, from the Bhagavatam. One is the speaker, the other one is the hearer. The third one is the one who is inquisitive, one who asks questions. Because not everyone will ask questions, they're very shy. Even sometimes to hold a mic, they shiver before asking a question. Many people are like that, they have that fear. But one who is bold enough, he asks a question. Then that question will also benefit the questioner and the rest of the audience. So everyone gets the advantage of hearing Bhagavatam. The result of Bhagavatam is unalloyed devotional service. So the Sutta Goswami says that he got all these achievements from his spiritual master by chanting this hymn, which has 4 names. Anybody knows which are the 4 names of Vishnu here, 4 names of Krishna here? Anybody recalls? Without looking at the book, what are the 4 names?
Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha.
GAVSP. So
Yes. Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. V and A. So all 4 names are there. And I explained earlier that each of the names are very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. We may take them as just like normal names. But these are not normal names. Just by chanting these names, they purify you. And they give you immense strength to face difficulties in your life. So all 4 are important. So here in the Prabhupada Prabhupada further explains that the aim of understanding this verse is to understand Krishna with his plenary expansions. It's explained earlier. From Vasudeva comes Balaram first. From Balaram comes 4. Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna. Then from that Sankarsana comes Narayan. And then from that Narayan again another 4, second set of corporal expansions appear. Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna, but this time Sankarsana is called Mahasankarsana. The first one was Sankarsana, the other one is called Mahasankarsana, because he is an expansion of that Sankarsana. Now, what does it have to do with us? Yes, it has. As you read further, we all have 4 things in us. Do we have soul? Yes. Do we have ego? Yes. Do we have mind? Yes. And do we have intelligence? Yes. These 4 also enter into us. The Vasudeva is the soul, is a representation of Vasudeva. Sankarsana, the representation in us is the ego. We have 2 kinds of egos, false ego and real ego. Does anybody know what is the difference? Anybody likes to try?
Ego
Hare
is
Krishna,
the
Prabhuji. Yeah, false egoji, I am so and so. But real egoji, I am the servant of Lord Krishna.
Yes, very nice. The false ego means on a bodily platform. And on a spiritual platform, the false ego is, that false ego is the real ego. That real ego means I am the servitor of Krishna. It says that Sarupa means that I am the servitor of Jivira Sarupa, Krishnera Nityadas. So that is real ego. And the false ego means, oh, I am this, I am a male, I am a female. this is my color, this is my religion, and this and this and this. This is false ego. So when you think of Vasudeva, means Krishna, his expansion is the soul. The ego expansion is of Sankarsana. That intelligence is that of Pradyumna. And Aniruddha is in the mind. You find that each one is important, including the mind is important. If your mind is not in Krishna, you can't become Krishna conscious. That's what Krishna says in many, many verses, especially the main verse of Bhagavad Gita, Man Mana Bhava Madhvata. Man means mind. And then in the 12th chapter it says, Mai Eva Manodachva, Mai Buddhi Nivishaya. Keep your mind, keep your diligence in me. In this way, there are several verses which speaks about thinking of Krishna. You can't think if you don't have a mind. So if you have a good, healthy mind, then you can meditate, concentrate on Krishna, and then your intelligence will open properly. And then you'll have a very first class study in this. So how does our mind come to control? Anybody knows? How do you, easiest way to control? I know all of you are going to say chanting Hare Krishna. But what is the technicality? How to stabilize your mind? What is the first thing you should do?
Listen. Shravana.
Yes, Shravanam. Very good. In Shravanam, which sense are you using?
The ears.
Yes. Now, the actual answer is, when all the senses are using the service of Krishna, the mind will settle itself. That means all the senses, Sarva Upadi Vidibhukta Tatparatvena Nirmalam, Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Uchite. When all the senses are used in the service of Krishna, the mind becomes settled. The whole idea of Bhakti Yoga, or the whole science of Bhakti Yoga, actually means using our purified senses in the service of Krishna. That is called Bhakti Yoga. If someone asks you, how do you define Bhakti? Bhakti means when our senses in their pure state are used in the service of Krishna, that is called Bhakti Yoga. If not, then that's not Bhakti Yoga. It can be hearing, it can be chanting, it can be remembering. But everything should be done in the purest possible way. And what will purify you? The day you realize that I'm not pure, the day you realize I'm fallen, the day you know that, the day you feel that I have no love for Krishna, then you are the right candidate. That's why Rupa Goswami explains in a very nice way that always think yourself helpless. In Sanskrit is called Nisahi. Nisahi means nobody is going to help me, only Krishna is going to help me. When you reach that level, then it means you are making a very fast progress. Because then everything will open. Automatically everything will open. That's why no wonder Krishna tells Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that it's only by bhakti you can know me the way I am and enter into my mysteries. Anybody knows this verse? Only by bhakti. Aryagam Prabhu, do you know the verse? Anybody?
Janati.
Huh?
Bhaktya mamati janati.
Yes. Bhaktya mama vijanati yavanyashtasmi tattva. Tatomam tattvatam dhatva vishate tadanantaram. It's only by bhakti you can know me as I am. So bhakti is very, very powerful. Because bhakti is so good. If it is done when the bhakti becomes pure, Shuddha bhakti, then it will attract Krishna. Nothing can attract Krishna. Yoga cannot attract Krishna. Karma cannot attract Krishna. Jnana cannot attract Krishna. But Shuddha bhakti can attract Krishna. This is what Krishna wants. Anything else we do is not actually meant to please Krishna. Many things we do is for self-purification. But when pure devotional service appears in your heart, then it will attract Krishna. Then Krishna recognizes you, oh, this is my devotee. And Krishna will do anything for you. You just desire it, Krishna will do it for you. This is the beauty. But very few of us can actually reach that level. It's not an easy level. Now, the aim of it, the whole purport is explaining you 4 words. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Anirudh. So if I am to ask you, are these 4 in me or no? What would you answer? Yes. Kritika Mataji is nodding the head. Yes. Yes, they are in us. All the 4 expansions in us. And Krishna is there right at the top in the middle of the heart. Though Aniruddha is meant, is the controller of the mind, but Krishna is actually in the heart playing his flute. That is why this was very, very important. It expands the spiritual life in a variety. But these 4 are the 4 truths to be known properly. And these 4 truths, if they are known, they are in us, they are in everything and in everyone. In other words, Krishna is in the heart of everyone. And that's what Dharma is trying to explain to Vyasdev, the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just to say, for example, if I were to say, God is there, it does make sense. But if I say, Krishna is there, which one makes a bigger sense? When you say Krishna, means a person, a form. When you say God, means just some vague idea that there is some controller. Here in Bhagavatam, the word God is not used. Krishna is used. And even in the purport, the word Krishna is used. And even in the purport of Srimad Bhagavad Srila Prabhupada uses the word Krishna many, 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 many times. In the verse itself, in the purport itself, in the explanations itself. We all know the pastime in which one person came to argue with Srila Prabhupada. It says, Swamiji, you changed the Bhagavad Gita in your way. He says, really? How? It says, in every purport you written the word Krishna. So Prabhupada pretended that he didn't hear. What did you say? It says, you written Krishna here. It's like Prabhupada is still acting like he's not hearing. It says, you written Krishna here, 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 here. It says, that is Bhagavad Gita. No Bhagavad Gita, no Krishna, no Bhagavad Gita. This is my Bhagavad Gita. And that is why it is called as it is. You people have removed Krishna from him. But I have kept Krishna in him on every page. And in some purports, if you see from far, you find the word Krishna written so many times. So the very name of Krishna is so purifying and is with us within the heart of, not just heart, even in our intelligence, even in our ego, everywhere Krishna is there. So if you realize this verse in a practical way, you'll never go wrong in your devotional service. Hare Krishna. So time is also up. Any questions you can ask?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, especially for the AVSP. Now we will understand it. I have understood it much better now. And also the process of, I liked your example of the sugar cane coming all the way to Misri. So in order to become Misri or sweet, we have to go through all these 9 processes of bhakti. So that I really enjoyed, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have a question. So when, and I'm sure everybody in this group is also experiencing the same, we are now able to see our anarthas. So when you see it, so for example, if people have cheated, spoken lies, stolen, whatever, these anarthas are now coming up. What do we do about it? We have realized that we have all these anarthas.
Okay, there's no one who can say I have no anartha. No one can say that I have not sinned in my life. No one can say I have never committed any offense. No one. Everyone. No one can say that I am perfect. If you were perfect, you would have not been here, number one. You would have been with Krishna. So second thing is, when you see the anarthas, when you see the weaknesses, then we try to rectify and don't do it again. In English, they say, Everyone commits a mistake. Fools repeat them. So let's not become fools. We know this is my defect. So that doesn't mean you cry for that defect. You pray to Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. Not only will he rectify, that defective part, he'll make it more strong. I remember in my younger days, when I was, I think, 16, 17 years old, maybe even less than that, we used to stay in a hostel, and there was someone who came to teach us karate. You know karate? And then for karate, you're saying that this part should be very hard, this part of the hand. And you tell us to hit this way, this way, this way. And then when you hit on the wood, even the wood will break. That is the beginning. And certain poses, how you stand, how you practice. So each of these parts becomes very, very strong. So even in bhakti, when you see the anarthas, the weaknesses, Krishna will make that part very, very strong. For example, if Prabhupada calls chanting as even crying, you are crying for Krishna. Now when a baby cries, who will come? The mother will come, definitely. The mother will carry. The same way, Krishna is not just the father, he's also the mother. He says, Mata Ham, Pita, Mata, everything is I am everything. So Krishna will carry us. And then Krishna will see why you are crying. And Krishna will try to make you stop crying by giving you devotion and strengthening the weakness. Remove that weakness forever so that you don't do it again. Is it okay? This is the beauty of devotion. The more we see our weaknesses, better for you. Rather than becoming too proud, oh, I have done this, I have done this. You are not keeping any room to make any progress. But when you say, no, I made this mistake, be very frank, be honest. At least be honest with your own self, forget others. Your heart knows where you went from. Better say it, speak it out. But to who? To your spiritual master? If your spiritual master is not there, to a senior devotee or to Krishna, then that can be rectified. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Vishaka Mataji has a question. Kindly unmute and
Hare Krishna. Actually, I may ask the most stupidest question. I just wonder what plenary means. Actually, I read this plenary and I get
Plenary
confused.
expansion. Plenary is that the word you are using? Plenary
yes,
expansion?
plenary. So what does it equal or what does it mean really?
No,
In
it
real
means
terms.
plenary means a portion, an expansion. That's why it's called plenary.
Oh, portion. Okay.
For example, I give you an example. Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
If the sun is there, the plenary expansion of the sun is the heat and the fire. Is that meaning okay?
Yes, Prabhu, I understand.
If the sun is not there, there can't be heat, there cannot be light. First of all, the sun has to be there. The same, because the Krishna is there, then Vasudeva is there, Sankarshan is there, Pradyumna is there, Aniruddha is there. And if you know in Ramayana, all four appeared on this, even on this material world, as the sons of Dashrath. I had explained in the beginning of the class. All four expansions appeared at the same time.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
Prabhu, one more question. These four expansions, they have been repeated twice, like as you explained, the four expansion came and then the four. What is the link between the four expansion coming again? And my other second part is, you mentioned that it's a symbol of mind, intelligence, and in ourselves. So is it another name for mind, another name for intelligence? And so that's my question.
Not another name, but it is there in us. And the first quadruple expansion is the way it's explained in Brahma Samhita and also in Bhagavatam. That in the beginning, we find that the Lord is Krishna. I don't have the map here, but I don't have that poster. First on the top is Krishna. From him, as I explained, is Bhagavan. Then 4 expansions, Narayan, then another 4 expansions. So it means plenary expansion of the original plenary expansion. Original is Krishna. His expansion is Balaram. All four again. Then Sankarshan. Then from Sankarshan comes Narayan. Then from Narayan the four expansions. You can see this in this chart. But these are different avatars. This chart is not actually showing the expansion, but at least the names are given. Swayam Rupa. At least that chart is good enough. So expansion means as you go deep into the oceans, they do make a lot of sense. You understand things as it is. Is that okay, Madhavi?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'll give you another simple example. Do you make cakes at your house?
Yes, I do.
Do you put essence?
Yes.
Now, if you put more essence, then it will be very strong. You have to put the right amount of essence inside. For example, you are putting vanilla or orange, whatever it is. Then if you have to put a few drops, but if you put too much, the whole taste will go. In the same way, plenary word also means the essence and the essence of the essence. But the original is very, very strong. That is the meaning. Krishna is the original of everything. Is that okay, Madhavi?
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's not a stupid question, it's an intelligent question.
Hare Krishna,
Okay.
are there any other questions or comments? So there are no more questions or comments. Maybe I'll hand over to Pat Prabhuji. Pat Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you for
Hare
joining.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Yes, yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much for your nice class. Okay, Prabhuji, the same question also in my mind already. Visakha Mataji asked this question. So, if Krishna is all pervading and he is above of all and is the source of all, then what is the necessity of doing this expansion of first quarter and again second? What is the main thing? What is the cause of that one?
So that we can understand everything in detail. For any detailed explanation, you have to explain it properly. Just by saying one thing, it may not be clear. This is the Bhagavatam and Brahma Samhita. Both are explaining how the expansion, for example, like if you remember in the same first canto, in the third chapter, there was this famous words, Ete chamsha kalopamsha krishnastu bhagavan swayam indrari vyakulam lokam vidyanti yuge yuge. Vyasadeva says that all these avatars are expansions of Krishna. But the original Swayam Bhagavan is Krishna. Now, Vyasadeva could have just said that all these avatars are Krishna. He could have said like that. But he gave the essence that all these are expansions and expansion. Expansions of original Krishna. For example, I am a father. I have children. Then my children have children. So if someone wants to know my family, then this is Rukma, this is his wife, this is his son, this is his daughter, this is granddaughter, this is grandson, and so on. The whole tree could be understood. That is why there is a need of giving a complete explanation. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Even
Prabhuji.
when Krishna appeared here, his son is called Pradyumna. And then his son is called Aniruddha. Even when in the Krishna Lila. You all know that.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Son of Krishna and Dwarkadish, Krishna and Rukmini is called Pradyumna.
Yes.
And then his son.
Yeah.
Just to exemplify how even an expansion of Krishna is very, very important.
Okay.
And yet they are all one. They're all Vishnu Tattvas. We are Jiva Tattvas, and there's another third one, Shakti Tattva.
Even Prabhu, they are coming on the son and grandson like that. Also, they are in the same.
Yes, yes.
It's okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. His Grace Rukma Prabhuji. Also, thanks all the devotees assembling here. I was many days I was not presenting in Zoom class because I was busy in our devotees who came to the Eldoret and house program and other classes which is going there. So after many times, I was also attending your class, Prabhuji. So I request all the devotees, please unmute yourself and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His Grace Rukma Prabhuji.
One request I altered before you give the final words. In the purport, the last paragraph, Prabhupada says, when you have all this knowledge, your duty is to hear and chant the glories of Krishna again and again and again. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. So the thing is that in the other sense, we can understand how Krishna is so opulent and power, and his his opulence. So we can easily understand.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I request all the devotees, please unmute and chant Hare Krishna mantra for glorification of His Grace Rukma Prabhuji. Please join. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama Hare Hare Vancha
Vancha
Kalpataruvyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Rukma Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.